Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Laura's Dose of Stamping Therapy. It is Tuesday morning, and I'm so excited to jump on here with you guys to show you this little tip and technique and what happens when you lose your mind going pregnant. I just have to share this with you because it just happened, and I was like, seriously? But you just have to laugh at yourself sometimes, and I've definitely started doing that because there's just anything below my waist is an absolute mess and might have been there for a couple days unless Claire or Brad picks it up because there's no bending over. Lucky for you guys, I did bend over to pick this up because I had this all ready to go, die cut and everything. I was ready to show you guys how to do this fun little technique, and I dropped it on the floor, and when I wheeled my chair back to find it and pick it up, I wheeled right over it. So now you can see it's got all these little crunchy crinkles on it, and I'm gonna have to do another one. So even though I try to be prepared, life happens. So I hope if you're having one of those days where life happens or where you make a mistake, it's no problem. We just need to laugh at ourselves and move forward. So that's my my beginning start for Tuesday morning. Welcome if you're just joining in. Give me a little shout out so that I know that I have at least someone watching. But today I'm going to show you a fun little technique that uses the Take Your Pick tool. And this can be done on any sort of die cut image. I typically would use it on like a label or something like that and not necessarily an actual image. I don't know. It could look kind of cool on an image. I haven't tried it on an image yet. I like the way it looks on a label. So I might have to try it out on an actual image, but I'm going to show it to you. And because I'm going to be using a die cut, then I went ahead and I brought in the mini cut and emboss, which you guys, I have to tell you, I'm really starting to love it. Like in the beginning, I said that a lot of my customers wanted it for the little images that they could just easily crank back and forth. And I thought, sure, I understand that, but I'm not so sure that it's that important. It's really important. It is so easy to just carry this little bitty thing around. It doesn't take up my entire desk. I can crank through like 2 to 3 cranks and I'm good to go on a little die, and I love it. Like, I actually find like, ooh, this die is too big. I have to use the big one. So, yeah, I'm surprising myself on that, and I super love it. Hi, Patricia. Today will be much better. Yes, yesterday had an excuse. I mean, it was Monday, right? We do that sort of thing on Mondays, but today's Tuesday, and although with my pregnancy brain, you just never know what day it is. So now that I need to completely re-die cut this, then I will go ahead and get started re-die cutting this one. And I'm going to die cut this other one too. So I have a piece of white cardstock. I think I can get both of these on here at the same time. So I'm using a stitched oval from the Stitched Shapes dies. And then this fun little image, this label image, I'm actually using from the Potted Succulents dies. So the Potted Succulents has those fabulous succulent flowers as well as a few labels. So this time, I kind of need to have them all lined up with each other to be able to crank it through because I'm using like the entire platform. But if you're having problems where your little Big Shot little Stampin' Cut and Emboss, mini boss, whatever you want to call it. If you're having problems where it's not catching, like you're cranking and it's not like grabbing it and pulling it through, don't have your sandwich perfectly lined up. Sort of like offset it. Now, like I said, this one, I kind of needed to have it perfectly lined up because I was using it literally from left to right, every square inch of it. So like if I offset it, then of course this wouldn't have die cut because it wouldn't have had that even pressure. But yeah, if you're having problems with that, just sort of, you know, offset them a little bit and then stick it through and it'll grab a lot much better. A lot better. I know, I totally thought I didn't need it either, and I kind of like, I waited to get it for a while, and then I finally got it, and I didn't even use it for a while, because I'm like, I have the big one, and the big one does it all. But now that I've started using it on like the little things, I'm just like, grab that thing. Like, I don't know that this has made it back to his home over there with all my die cutting stuff for weeks. Because, like, I just move it around and just carry it with me. Like, it's 3 pounds. I got that. Like, I can bring it out and set it down on my stamping project desk and not have to be like, clear the way. Like, because it's so little, and I absolutely love it. You're right, Nancy. Most of the dies do fit. There are very few that do not. And even some of the embossing folders fit, too. So it's just that simple, quick... crank, crank, crank. Okay. So what we want to do is we actually want to leave those images in the die. So I still have it in the die. We're just going to get rid of this one that I wheeled over this morning. And I have the take your pick tool. And on the one end is the stylus. And there's like a larger ball and a smaller ball. I have been using the larger ball because I tend to be a little heavy-handed, and I'm a little nervous that if I use the smaller ball, I would just punch a hole in it because I would just push too hard. So what I'm going to do is my die is upside down. So this is the front of the die. This is the back where like the cutting blade is. And on the back, I'm literally just going to press this ball against the die and go around. So I'm not like freehanding anything because let me tell you, this girl doesn't freehand. I'm just pressing against that oval and using that as my guide and going around. And then now you're all done and you can pop it out and use it. And I'm going to show you how it looks so cool. Like fairly simple to do, not very time consuming. And it gives that subtle, like almost like, what are those things called? Those like antique pictures that have that like bubble over them where they're like they're a photo, but then they have a bubble of glass over them. I'm sure there's a name for that. I don't know what it is though. But that's kind of what I think with this. So like, I don't know how well you can see that. Or even at all. Okay, so here's a sample I wanted to show you. This does use some celebration items. The Berry Blessings designer paper and stamp set. So if you already have that set, here's a great inspiration for you to be able to recreate. If you don't, then I'm sorry because celebration ended in February. But do you see how it's popped up? I did stamp after I die cut. You could always die cut first, or I mean stamp first and then die cut that image. A lot of times I usually stamp afterwards only because I don't want to mess with, like I don't want to mess it up or have the die slide on me. I mean, I could always add a Post-it note or something like that to help it not slide. But I also have had no problem stamping it afterwards and not like smushing it back down. So can you guys see that very well? Just has that little bit of oomph. The other thing is I use dimensionals to put it on, and like you almost can't even see the dimensionals because the fact that it like kind of is like a little plate over the dimensionals, then it like covers them up. So I hope you guys can see that. It's very subtle, but it's still super cool. And then this is like white on white. What I should have done is I should have brought over a sponge dauber so that you could see that texture of it pulling forward. So now we're going to do this die. Ooh, this one's already popping out of its die. Get back in there. Okay. And this one's going to be a little bit trickier because it's not like a nice smooth line. So we're just going to go around. And then pop it out. Ooh, this one's even cooler looking. Like, I feel like this one stands out more. I hope you guys can see it. Let me see. Here's a piece of pattern paper. Can you guys see that? I sure hope so. It's so cool looking. Like, I feel like you can see it over here. But see how the dots around the edge are down low, and then the rest of it sort of popped up. Dry embossing, yes. Back in the day, it was called dry embossing. And remember there was those light tables, and you had those brass or copper or whatever they were templates, and then you used to use a stylus to like go around and everything. Thank goodness we have embossing folders now, because those just seem so tedious to me. Like, that was, I feel like that was sort of phasing out a little bit when I was starting to do Stampin' Up, and I'm so glad, like, it was on my wish list forever. And I'm so glad I held out, because then once the die cutting and, you know, embossing folders and stuff like that came out, I snatched that up and was like, whoop, now I can do it all. Like, I was so excited about that. So that was about 17 years ago. Because next month I'll be celebrating my 17-year anniversary with Stampin' Up. So, yeah. The old dry embossing is coming back, just like every other trend. This, I feel like, is a little bit more doable because it's small, subtle, and you don't have to do it, but it is pretty cool. Yes, you can do it with stencils. My only thing about the stencils is I think probably, again, I'm heavy-handed, is that they're not deep enough for me to stay in the lines. I'm glad you're enjoying this, Patricia. So yeah, that's just a fun little way to add a little bit of extra texture to your images. Like, I feel like the oval looks nice, but this, I don't know. I feel like it looks amazing. I don't know if I pressed harder or if it's the funky, like, it's not just an oval, it's, you know, detailed. But this one I feel like is amazing looking. And then I don't know how well you can see that. But yeah, just a quick and simple little technique that I wanted to share with you guys today for Laura's Dose of Stamping Therapy. I have a couple more projects that I want to share with you guys that I hoped to get done before he arrives. The countdown is on. It can't come soon enough. I would be perfectly happy if it came sooner, because I'm just ready for him to get out. So I don't know. There might be some more Laura's Dose of Stamping therapies, and there might be a baby reveal. So you just never know. Just make sure that you're following along. I will probably be posting the most here on Facebook. Of course, I'll still be checking my emails and stuff like that as much as I can. Probably while nursing at 3 a.m. So don't be surprised if you happen to finally get a message back from me at that time of day. But yeah, I will still be around. I just might be a little bit quieter than normal because of his arrival. So I will see you guys soon. I am going to start working on my thank you notes for him because how have I not started on those already? I'm planning on using the Zany Zebras, so wish me luck, and I hope to be able to show those off to you guys before his arrival. But again, you just never know. Maybe he'll come today. Claire says that every day, and I'm kind of like, do you know something I don't know? But anyway, I did leave a link in the description for the Take Your Pick tool so that you can check that out. It does come with so many little handy tips on it so that you can use it for picking up rhinestones or jewels, or you know, getting into small places and poking at things and holding things, and you know, the putty tip, the stylus tip, the poker tip, and the pancake flipper. At least that's what I call it. So yeah, I left a link for that in the description box. And yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Don't forget, you can always check out lots of tips and tricks on my blog, laurastamppad.com. And the free stamp set of the month this month is In Bloom, which is in the mini catalog. So I meant to have one of those over here for you guys, and I didn't. So that was probably around the same time that I ran over the die cut image with my own chair. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Happy stamping. Love, hugs, and prayers to all of you guys. Stay safe and stay healthy.